Here's the latest update from our newsroom. The Ministry of Health on Thursday announced the registration of 322 new coronavirus cases in the country. 80 of the new cases are Omani nationals and 242 for non-Omanis, bringing the total number of coronavirus cases registered in the Sultanate to 4,341. According to the Ministry of Health, this number also includes the recovery of 1,303 patients and 17 deaths. The ministry urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health, as well as staying at home and not going out unless necessary. In terms of breakup and starting from up north, Musandam records the confirmed cases of 6 with registration of 0 deaths, recoveries of 5 and active cases of 1. Al-Buraimi has confirmed cases of 28 with no deaths, recovery of 5 patients and active cases of 23. North Batina has confirmed cases of 199 with registration of 1 death, recoveries of 105 patients and active cases of 93. Ad-Dahira has confirmed cases of 55 with registration of no deaths, recoveries of 30 patients and active cases of 25. South Batina has confirmed cases of 359 patients with registration of 1 death, recoveries of 222 patients, while active cases stand at 136. In Muscat Governorate, we have confirmed cases of 3,246 patients, while death registered in this governorate is 15, recoveries is 658, and active cases as of today is 2,573. Ad-Dakhila has confirmed cases of 206 patients, while no registration of no death, recoveries of 121, active cases of 85. North Sharqiya has confirmed cases of 37 with registration of no deaths, recoveries of 31 patients, and active cases of 6. South Sharqiya has confirmed cases of 185 with registration of no deaths, recoveries of 113 patients, while active cases stands at 72. Lastly, we have the Far Governorate with confirmed cases of 20, registration of no deaths, recoveries of 13, and active cases of 7. Moving on, Eid al-Fitr may fall on Sunday, May 24th, according to astronomical calculations for the Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs. Astronomical Affairs clarified that in the event of clear weather, the moon of Shawwal can be seen on Saturday evening, Ramadan 29th night. The Astronomical Affairs Department at Mira said, the astronomical calculations made about the sighting of the crescent of Shawwal show that on Saturday Ramadan, corresponding to May 23, 2020, in the city of Muscat, the moon will descend on Saturday approximately 41 minutes after sunset. Therefore, if the weather is clear, we will be able to see the crescent of the month of Shawwal on this day in the Sultanate, the official said. And according to Royal Decree number 56/2020, to determine the days of official holiday for Eid al-Fitr, it will be from 29th of Ramadan to 3rd of Shawwal. Landlords in Oman are reducing house rents by up to 40% for tenants who cannot afford to pay them every month, owing to the financial impact of coronavirus. While some landlords have offered flat reductions in rents to people staying in their residential buildings, others have asked their tenants to provide them a part of the rent now and pay them the rest later. Ahmed Al-Houthi, a board member of the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry and its head of economic research, said many companies that own buildings had approached his organization to discuss with the concerned authorities the possibility of reducing rents. In addition to that, we have First Lieutenant Saeed Al-Mahrazi from Royal Oman Police joining us, who's going to talk more about the lockdown and the current situation of the coronavirus in the country. Thank you for joining us, Lieutenant Saeed.
Ms. Mariha, I am honored and so happy to be here with you and to answer the questions.
So first, we'll start with the lockdown in the Muscat Governorate and Jalan Banibu Ali. Could you please tell us why it has been extended?
Yes. First of all, we need to know that the Supreme Committee decision of locking down came from a genuine purpose, which is controlling the spread of this pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic. The general procedure of locking down the Governorate of Muscat and applying a strict quarantine in the life of Matrah and Muscat came for the reason I mentioned before. There are some various checkpoints and control stations alongside the internals which lead to Governorate of Muscat. These internals or these checkpoints are managed by the ROP staff and the military staff, and the only categories which could come in and out are the ones that I'm going to mention them now. So, to basically to reduce the possibility of COVID-19 spread, we are committed to implement the exact instructions as the Supreme Committee guidelines. So, the only categories that are allowed to come are the medical care, the doctors and the nurse, the hospital staff, the urgent cases which need an intensive care unit, and as well as the trucks. And what I mean the trucks who carry logistic supplies, building supplies, and other building materials as well. As per as per the statics which was issued from the Ministry of Health, there are daily statements updating for the cases that have been discovered and the recovered. We recognize that the majority percentage of the diagnosed personnel are from the governorate of Muscat. And for that reason, the extent took place to contaminate the virus and never spread outside the perimeter of Muscat governorate.
Right. So, considering the growth in numbers every day, yesterday we had close to 300 and today we have already crossed the mark of 300. Do you think if the situation remains the same, the lockdown will be extended to further districts and the regions?
Well, to be honest, the ROP, alongside with the concerned authorities like the Ministry of Health, are working hard to get the significant results to make a situation under control. So the answer depends on the Supreme Committee whether to extend the lockdown to other areas or not. Meanwhile, we just stick on our plan. We advise the citizens, we advise the expats to follow the healthy procedures and never attempt to go outside. For example, practicing the healthy behaviors like keeping distance. That's it.
Right. Right now, only Muscat Governorate is under the lockdown. So, do you think people traveling from other cities like Sohar and Barka and Sur, are they still allowed to commute and go outside Muscat, or is it still restricted with the checkpoints in place?
Well, to be honest, the lockdown of Muscat Governorate meant to allow only the categories I've mentioned earlier, and it's for the sake of the citizens and expat health. So basically, the people who remains in Muscat remains in Muscat, and people who remains outside cannot enter, and vice versa. But the movement in the governorate of Muscat, people who are in Muscat, can have a smoother movement where they can go and buy some supplement if they have some urgent cases. But ultimately, we as the concerned authorities, we advise everyone to never attempt as much as possible to go out unless it's urgent. And in addition to keep social distance and never attempt to get involved in any gathering.
So, is it possible for people living outside Muscat Governorate like Sur and Barka, other cities, can they still enter Muscat if they have a valid paper or valid reason?
Well, if the reason was urgent and was strong, if for example their work demand their presence at the company, There are some coordination between the company and the concerned authorities. They need to show the clearance, a paper from the employer to the checkpoints, and the checkpoints will manage if they can enter or not. But ultimately, I can, as I said before, these kind of this situation is critical. So if people could stay at home as much as possible, it will be better. And I've heard that most of companies had applied the remote system where they can work at home and never have to go and drive all along to their work in Muscat.
Yeah, as you mentioned about the checkpoints and the work permit, like the necessary documents that is required to pass through the checkpoints, it has been observed that Wilayat Matra are asking for rental and electricity bills besides the work permit. Is this true? Do you have anything in your knowledge about it?
Until now, there is no any instructions for getting the electricity permit. It's just like Matrah is fully quarantined strictly. Nobody can go out of the wilayah, and nobody also can enter. But if there is, like I said, if there was a paper, okay, a resident card states that a person lives in Matrah, they will be it will be comprehended, understood.
And as we know that the Royal Oman Police and the doctors, like all these people are literally on the front line during this pandemic. How are you making sure the safety of the citizens and the residents in the city?
Yes, alongside with the Ministry of Health, we ROP are following the guidelines of the Supreme Committee, where we and raise the awareness of the expats and citizens by spreading many brochures. The police, the operations center of ROP had activated uh, the majority percentage of the patrols. These patrols aims to cover all the roads, all the internals of the Wilayah of Muscat, and the outside governorates like Southern Batna and Al-Dakhiliya and Sharqiya and Bahra, where they go and pass through the roads, making sure that there is no any violent activity which was prohibited by the Supreme Committee, such as gathering and also attempting to do some activities which violate the Supreme Committee, like jogging cycles with a group of people, and as well as also activated that if some uh, people attempt to do gathering, other people should report that to the police because it's an obligatory.
Thank you. You know, despite having the guidelines and the safety instructions issued by the Supreme Committee, Ministry of Health, even the Royal Oman Police, do you think that people are actually adhering to social distancing and following the instructions issued to them?
Well, let me just start from the beginning. We have noticed that from the Ministry of Health statement that Matrah and Jalan Bani Buali was quarantined due to the large cases, diagnosed. But if there was a decision, for example, to make another lockdown, this question lead to another question. For another strict lockdown, it will be the result of people who do not follow the procedures. But for your question, we see the opposite. Our community had the full information, had the full overview of this pandemic. They are aware that this pandemic is gonna lead them to negative consequence if they did not follow the rules. So the majority of percentage are following the rules. They stay at home. They stick with the healthy habit and listen to all the advice instructions from the ROP as well as the Ministry of Health, and not like other countries.
So, on that note, what is that message that you would like to give out to the viewers and listeners right now?
Our message is during this pandemic, the Supreme Committee are putting much effort all the members of the Supreme Committee are moving heaven and earth to confront and stop this spread of this pandemic. And our advice to the community, we ROP, alongside with the Ministry of Health, represent the 50% of protecting the community from COVID-19, and the greater percentage, another 50% is standing with the community. Once they follow the rules, once they stay at home and never attempt to go outside only for urgent cases, once they go only for urgent buying food and buying urgent supplements and sticking with the rules, this will actually support our efforts, and inshallah the cases will be declining in the future.
As you know, Lieutenant, that we are actually live right now on Facebook and other social media platforms, and we have started receiving some questions from our viewers. One is asking if you have any idea about opening of the border so that he can return back to Dubai. Apparently he's from Dubai and he's actually stuck in Oman due to the lockdown. Do you have any information on those lines?
Well, until now there is no further instructions, no further information for opening the borders. But on the 29th of May, we know that the lockdown will be released. Until now, if there is no further notice. But regarding the person, if there is a new instructions, new update, it will be announced officially by the Supreme Committee, so he or she go back to Dubai.
Right. Another question is about people who are leaving from Oman on the special flights, and if their visa has been expired. And in this situation, knowing that coronavirus breakdown happened in the country, would they still need to be paying the fines?
Well, to make clear, during this pandemic, all the airlines are suspended until further notice. For the expatriates who their visa expired on the 19th of March, okay, they will be given a chance until the 30th of May. They won't be charged to pay any fines. But after the 30th of May, they have to renew the visa by the online system, which is available on the ROP website.
Okay, so this goes for even the visitors who are visiting from different countries?
Yes, exactly. It also includes for the people who are coming outside.
Okay, so 30th May is the deadline, and starting from 19 March until 30th May is the deadline given to them to renew their visa.
Yeah, given to the expatriate. After that, they need to renew their visa.
Okay, thank you so much once again for joining us. It was definitely very informative, and I'm sure the viewers and listeners out there have actually got their answers.
Thank you so much, Madiha. I'm so glad to be here and to answer these questions to cover the COVID-19 updates. Thank you so much.
It was definitely our pleasure, Lieutenant. For all the viewers and listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. Keep home, be safe, and keep watching TTV.